Please go ahead.
Start?
Yeah.
Okay. Agyanam timirandasya Jnananjana salakaya Chaksurunmilitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Todalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Yam Pravajantam Manupetamapeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Taruvajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Benedu Tam Sarvabhutarayam Munimanatosmi Bhaktya Aparadalakshay Chaptasya Kamadi Tarangamadhi Kripamaitvam Sharanam Prapadyam Vrinde Namaste Charanaravind Tavaivasmi Na Jivamitam Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tam Nayamam Charan. First I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Asto to the Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. And that same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Shiksha Gurudevs, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad, Astotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Ballabh Tirtha Goswami. To Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all of his divine associates, and to all of our Gaudiya Guru Varga, and to all the devotees present. So we're going to dust ourselves off now, because it's been a long time since we discussed part 1 of nonviolent communication.
好，那今天我们有幸请到小马尔弟弟给我们继续讲解非暴力沟通第2部分。那他说，因为已经过了很久，所以说要把所有的灰尘都拍掉，然后重新开始学习这部分的内容。
Just as a side note, when I was uttering the vandana, the prayers, I was remembering that long ago, I used to think these prayers were just something introductory, not really worth the attention that you give the class.
然后小马弟说，就是当他提到之前他读的那些引导文的时候，他以前会觉得这些祈祷就只是为了一个课程的开头，但其实不是这样子的。
But now I'm understanding that without those introductory prayers, there's no question of speaking a class or understanding a class, because for everything we need mercy of our Guru Varga.
但是他现在意识到了，就是如果没有开场的这些指导的话，那就没有可能可以去讲课，也没有可能大家可以理解，因为 必须得到整个师徒传系系统的一个仁慈。
Guru Varga all the way up to the supreme gurus, the gurus even of Krishna, that is Sri Radha, and Krishna, the guru of Brahma.
那这个师徒传系统就像 Krishna 他的师傅相当于是Srimati Radharani，然后Brahma 的师傅是 Krishna。
Not only for me to say with devotion, but also for the audience to hear with devotion.
就不仅仅像妈咪弟弟说这些指导文的时候是带着一个虔诚心的，我们作为听众也应该带着虔诚心。
I don't remember exactly what we spoke last time, but I believe it was a summary of the 4 different ways, the four ways to communicate, 4 steps of communication, and the right way and the wrong way.
那像妈咪弟弟说，他可能不太记得上次究竟讲了一些什么东西，但是好像讲了就是4种沟通方式，然后什么是正确的方式，什么是错误的方式。
For example, observation versus evaluation. What I'm actually seeing and what I'm opinionating about that.
就比如第一个是观察和评估，观察就是我到底看见了什么，评估就是说我觉得我看到了什么，就带着自己的一个意图和意见。
So there's no harm in giving an opinion unless it's a criticism, which we don't want to do. But we want to be able to distinguish between an observation and an opinion.
就是自我的意见，它也不是一个坏事，但是要有这个能力去分别什么是观察，什么是自己的这个评估的意见。
So Jugu Kishore Dasi, I see that you're wearing a white sweatshirt with big black stripes. That's an observation.
那就比如说，像曼迪说，他看到 Ugla 现在穿了一件白色的套头衫，然后有黑色的一些条纹，这是一个观察。
Your sweatshirt has too much contrast, is an opinion. If I don't say that, but I say your sweatshirt has too much contrast with the black and white, then I'm confusing an opinion with an observation.
但如果像曼迪说，你的这件衣服它的黑白对比太多太厉害了，那他这个就是一个他个人的意见，这就不是一个观察了，不能搞错。
Then there's feelings versus accusation. Like if I say, I feel betrayed by you, that's not a feeling, it's an accusation about you.
然后第二个就是感受和指责。如果一个人说我感觉被你背叛了，那他其实不是一个个人的感受，他更多是在指责别人。
It's not accepting responsibility for my experience, but blaming someone else for my experience.
就当这么说的时候，没有接受一个个人的责任，然后把这个责任就推卸到别人的身上，觉得是别人的错。
If I say I feel sad because I'm thinking that you betrayed me, then I'm taking responsibility that it's because of my own thinking that that I'm sad.
但如果这个说法就是改一下，变成如果我说就是我觉得难过，是因为我觉得你背叛了我。那当这么说的时候，就没有指责别人，是在说我的这个想法，觉得就是 造成了这样的一个事情。
I'm sad because I'm thinking you betrayed me. Can you tell me what to tell my mind so that it tells me the accurate, uh, the accurate, what accurate, what the accuracy of what happened?
所以就可以说，我难受是因为我感觉你背叛了我，那你能不能告诉我的心灵，就是什么才是真正正确的？啊、
Okay, then I mean this is all just I a whiz of just going quickly through the summary. Then there's needs versus true expression of a need versus a demand. Not a demand, true expression of a need versus a strategy.
然后第三个就是需求和策略。
Okay, so my need is for friendship, for companionship, for love, for understanding. Those are universal principles of need.
那一些大众的需求，就比如说想要陪伴啊、友谊啊、爱情啊，或者理解。
I need you to be quiet is actually uh, a criticism. I need you to I need you to do this or that, or um, I need you to get back on time uh, because you're always late. Those aren't needs. They're strategies or accusations.
那指责或者说，就是什么呢？指责就是说，你现在必须安静下来，或者你必须做那个或者这个，或者就是你必须按时回来，因为你总是迟到。
Are these making sense, Jiggle?
I think the word strategy and accusation in Chinese is like completely different because strategy is kind of like you're strategizing to like very smartly to accomplish something, but accusation is kind of like you're blaming someone for something.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So the strategy is um, so I I need you to come on. I need you to come back on time. Um, yeah, that's a, that's a strategy. No, that's not a strategy. I'll look that up in a bit. Um, but I need meaning the need is actually a demand from somebody rather than taking responsibility for my need and asking you to help me with that. Like, um, I need I need your attention for a bit. Can you help me here? That's expressing I need communication. Can you help me here? I need clear communication. Can you help me here? Let's go with that one.
然后需求就是说，可以提出自己想要做的事情，就比如说，哦，我想要有更好的沟通，或者怎么样。
Versus the strategy of um, you never communicate properly. It's an accusation. Let's forget the strategy. It's an accusation.
OK，然后前面说的那个策略词，它应该被改为指责。然后指责的一个例子就是说，你从来就是你一直迟到，你从来不早到或怎么样。
Is that clear now?
Yes, it's much better.
Okay. All right. And then we go to um, request versus demand. A request is when your answer to my request is the beginning of a conversation, and demand is when your response to my request uh, creates the end of a conversation. I'll give an example. Can you meet me at 12 o'clock for this class with the Chinese devotees? No, I can't. Yeah, you never cooperate. You don't know how to cooperate. Means that my request for 12 o'clock wasn't really a request, it was a demand. And it's really a request if when you say, no, I can't, is it that you've already scheduled something? Or are you not feeling well? Or is there anything I could do? Or what time is good for you?
好，然后再下一个就是请求和要求的区别。请求就是说对方的一个答案是一个对话的开始，那么要求就是说对方的答案是一个对话的结束。就比如说像毛你弟说就是呃这个对话就说哦你能不能12点的时候给大家上课，然后如果答案是哦不行，那另外一个人会说哦你从来都不会好好的合作，那这个就说明他不是一个请求12点给大家上课，而是一个要求。但如果同样一件事情你12点能给大家上课，然后说不行，说哦为什么不行啊？是不是因为这个时间段不对？要不要改？那这就是一个请求。
A request would look something like, I wonder if you'd be happy to do such and such, or how does it resonate with you if I ask you to do such and such?
然后请求另外一个例子就是说，可以说，我在想这样做会不会好不好？这样做会不会好比较好？或者说，你觉得这样做怎么样？
Would you be happy to do such and such?
就是你做这个事情会，就你乐不乐意做这样的一件事情呢？
No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't be happy. Well, what would you be happy doing? In other words, there's good relationship there. I mean, there's an infinite number of things to say. The main thing is that it creates a bond of good relationship and respect.
那就比如说，就是问别人，哦，你想不想做这个，乐不乐意？然后别人说，我不行，我不乐意。然后就会问别人，那你想做什么？就这样来回可以就是进行无数次嘛。但是这个宗旨就是说，维持一个良好的关系，然后尊重。
All right. So now I want to return. I want to turn to Srila Gurudev's Harmony book. I believe you have that in Chinese, do you? Okay. So a few days ago was Srila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Goswami Maharaj's appearance date. So we were hearing from him about not blaming anyone.
OK，然后香曼蒂说，他现在要回到Srila Gurudev 的《和谐之道》这本书里面。然后前几天是 Srila Bhakti Tirtha Goswami Maharaj 的显现日，然后他们在听一个课，这个课的内容就是在讲不要去指责任何人。
He said, we've done so many fruitive activities in this and so many previous lives. And so whatever we're suffering or enjoying is the result of those activities.
那他就说，我们之前做了那么多因果业报的事情，在这一辈子和其他的那些辈子，所以我们现在不管是在享受什么，或者说在承受什么痛苦，都是因为过去的这些事情。
He was saying over and over again, never to blame anyone or any circumstance for our own suffering or situation. We've created everything.
所以他就说到，永远不要去指责任何人或者任何的境遇，因为我们自己创造了所有。
Srila Gurudev says that very interestingly. He said, if you abuse anyone, Krishna will arrange that you will also be abused.
然后 s h u l a g u r u d e 也提到了一件很有意思的事情，他就说，如果你虐待了别人，那 Krishna 肯定会安排，然后你也会被虐待。
Why? All right, let's say I know that it's Krishna doing it, but why does he always have to give me that kind of situation instead of a better situation?
然后有些人可能会问，就是我知道这是 Krishna 在做这些事情，那为什么他总是给我这样的境遇，而不是其他的更好的境遇呢？
If we believe in the tattva of God, then we believe that Krishna is all good. So whatever he does to us, or not to us, but for us, is all for our good.
那如果你相信神或者这个真理的话，那你就知道 Krishna 都是好的，然后无论他做什么事情，就为我们做的话，都是为了我们自己的一个福祉。
So two things happen. If I think because of that other person's bad quality, I'm suffering, two things happen. Number one, I either get that quality or I don't see that I have that quality, and that's why I'm suffering.
那有时候两件事会发生，第一件事就是说，如果我觉得我在承受痛苦是因为其他人的不好的品质，所以才会这样。那两件事会发生，第一件就是说我会得到那个人品质，或者说我会因为那个人不好的品质而去责怪别人。
Why am I always surrounded by? I'm a senior devotee. Why do I always have to be surrounded by people who don't know how to follow instructions? Rather than think like that, if I want to advance, then I would think Krishna is showing me that I am personally not following the instructions of my Gurudev and senior Vaishnavas. He's showing me what it's like.
就好比说一个人他是一个资深的奉献者，然后他周围有很多就是不知道要怎么去，呃，就是好好跟随指示的人，那与其指责就是哎呀，为什么我周围总是这些人就什么都不懂，什么都不会做，不遵守这些指示，他可以想说哦，Krishna 想要展现给我看，就是不遵守这些指示的人会是怎么样的。
In the Harmony book, Gurudev said very interestingly, you can't clap with one hand. In other words, because we've done things in the past, that's why reactions are coming. I don't know how what that picture, you can't clap with one hand. I say if you clap, you're clapping with two hands means you're putting something out and it's coming back.
然后 s h u l a g u r u d e 在《和谐之道》这本书里就提到过，就是其实，呃，就是只有两只手才可以鼓掌嘛，也就相当于我们中国人说的，就是一个巴掌拍不响所以就是有时候不光光是别人那边的问题，自己也是有问题的。
Right. So if I try to take revenge, blaming the other person, then again, I'll have to be tortured by that other person as a reaction to my taking revenge. And therefore, all of our acharyas say, forgive and understand that it's only the reaction of my past activities.
就如果我报复，然后去责怪别人，那我就会被那个人折磨。所以就是师徒传系系统强调了，一定要去原谅别人，这样才能进步。
He said, even if someone gives you poison, don't take revenge. Be careful. Be like Prahlad and Haridas Thakur, who were never revengeful towards their torture. Rather, they always wished well for their torture. This is very high.
那就是曾经有圣人说过，就算别人给你毒药，你也不要去反击，就是要很小心，要向 Prahlad 跟 Haridas Thakur 学习，就是对于他们两个来说，就是就算别人在 折磨他们，他们还是希望被就折磨他们的人会变得越来越好。当然，这是一个非常高深的理念。
Srila Haridas Thakur, while he was being beaten, prayed to Krishna, please forgive them. Actually, the beating is not coming from them. It's coming from my past sinful activities.
那 Shuhara Thakur 他被打的时候，他在心里面跟 Krishna 祈求，就是请原谅他们。就是他们在打我，不是因为他们的关系，是因为这是我原本以前就应该承受的东西。
And on top of that, he was praying to Krishna, your mercy. Not, oh, Krishna, you're so mean. Okay, I'm not going to blame the beaters, but I'll blame you. Why are you letting me be beaten? I'm trying to chant. Rather, oh, Krishna, this is your mercy.
那有些人可能会说：“哎呀，我明明想要念诵啊，Krishna，你为什么要这样对我，要折磨我，要打我？”但是 Haridas Thakur 在心里面就跟 Krishna 说：“哦，Krishna，这一切发生是因为你的仁慈。”
Gurudev said to consider thinking in this way, I'm worthless. Because of my past sins, I'm stupid and nonsense. And that's why no tears come when I chant Hare Krishna.
然后 Srila Gurudev 曾经就说过，要这样想，就是我什么都不是，然后因为过去的一些罪业，我很笨，然后我总是就是神志不清的，就是为什么我念诵的时候不会有眼泪流下来。
There are some interesting quotes in the back of the book, direct from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which help us to see things in a more congenial way to others.
然后这本书的后面有一段是来自于圣典博加瓦坛的句子。
When Maharaj Pariksit saw the cow and the bull who were beaten by the Sudra, who was Kali Yuga personified, and he asked, who did this to you? The bull said, oh, it was Krishna's mercy, although he knew very well that it was Kali.
那当 Maharaj Pariksit 他看到那个公牛母牛被打的时候，就被吃狗肉人打的时候，他就去问母牛，是谁干的。然后母牛明明知道谁干，但他没有回答这个问题，他就说这都是 Krishna 的仁慈。
So Maharaj Pariksit said to him, oh, you who are religion personified in the form of a bull, your answer is perfect because you know the principle that the same destination that is prepared for the perpetrator of an evil act is also prepared for the person who points out he did it, the evildoer.
然后 Maharaj Pariksit 就说，对这个公牛就说，啊，你是代表了这个宗教，然后你的答案是完美的，因为你知道，就是如果把这个拇指指向别人，那相当于自己会得到一个反射。
And regarding Prahlad Maharaj, when he was being yelled at, let's say, by his teachers, Sanda and Amarka, that, oh, you are the instrument of our enemy Vishnu. You have to be punished.
然后关于 Prahlad Maharaj，当他被他的两个老师骂的时候，他的老师说啊，你是我们的敌人，你是毗湿奴的一个器具。
So Prahlad, kind of like in a mood of prayer, he said, oh, I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, whose external illusory energy has given the conception that this is my friend and this is my enemy. Now I'm seeing, I'm experiencing that people actually think that way, even though previously I'd only read about it in scriptures, that people actually think this way.
然后普拉玛他就双手合十，向至尊主祈祷，他说：“哦，以前我只是在书本上看到，就是有些人无法分辨善恶之类的，但我现在，就是亲眼见证了，就是这些人无法分辨善恶。”
Also, in a discussion about Prahlad, Srimad Bhagavatam states that if Krishna is pleased with someone, the result of his being pleased is that the person becomes free from the conception that this is my friend and my enemy. Rather, he thinks that everyone is a servant of Krishna and everyone is equal in that regard. Everyone is controlled by Krishna as the master.
然后关于普拉圣典博伽瓦，它里面就讲到，就是如果 Krishna 对你满意的话，他就不会让你感觉到就是哦，这个人是我的朋友，那个人是我敌人，你就会一视同仁，会觉得所有人都是 Krishna 的仆人。
Also, I mean, this is so high. Like we think, oh, these are just basic things, and the gopis are so high, but really, these are so high. And Gurudev said, you want to be a gopi, but first you have to be Prahlad.
然后这些都是非常高深的概念。然后 Srila Guru 曾经说过，就是你如果想做牧牛女的话，你要先成为 Prahlad 才行。
So in the teachings of Kapila Dev, to his mother, he says that Kapila is God, he's an incarnation of Krishna. So he says that I'm present in every living entity as the super soul. And if anyone neglects me or discards me in the heart of any of the living entities, then his so-called worship of the deity is only imitation.
然后在 Kapila Dev 对他母亲的教导里面，他就提到我是所有人身体里面的超指灵。如果别人不尊重我或者忽略我的话，那他们对神灵的供奉都是只是表面的功夫而已。
Then in the third canto, the Bhagavatam says that if someone shows respect to the Supreme Lord, but envies the bodies of others and feels inimical towards others, then he's called a separatist. And he can never attain peace of mind.
然后在圣典博伽瓦坛第3本里面有提到，就是如果一个人他尊重至尊主，但是他会嫉妒或者讨厌其他人，那他就是一个分离者。那这样的话，他的内心永远不会得到和平。
These are actually the statements of Lord Kapila Dev to his mother. He says that even one who worships the deity with proper rituals, if he's ignorant of my presence in all living entities, then he never pleases me, the deity in the temple. You know, he's going through all the motions, but he never pleases me if he neglects me in the heart of all living entities.
然后Kapila Dev 就还对他母亲有提到，就说如果一个人他的神灵供奉做得非常非常好，但是他忽略了在自己和其他人内心中的这个超指灵，那就是永远不会被接受。
In fact, this gets pretty heavy. Lord Kapila Dev told his mother that as the blazing fire of death, I cause fear in the hearts of anyone who makes a distinction between himself and another living entity on the basis of, well, he's that and I'm that. It's very high.
然后主Kapila Dev还告诉他的母亲，就是 如果一个人整天想着他是这样的，我是这样的，就有很多分别心的话，那他作为死亡之火。
So the conclusion that Lord Kapila was making was that therefore, through charitable gifts and like attention and charitable gifts, one can please me by viewing all alike, seeing that I'm in everyone's heart, and I'm controlling everyone who are seated as if on a machine made of material energy. I'm directing everyone's wanderings.
然后那应该怎么做呢？就是通过一些慈善的捐赠，或者说一些就是注意力，那一个人可以取悦 Krishna，就如果他没有任何分别心，把所有人都一视同仁，如果他能看到每个人的内心都有 Krishna 的话，那就是好的。
Another excellent example is Maharaj Ambarish, in addition to Prahlad and Haridas Thakur. Maharaj Ambarish, although there was no fault on his part, he was just observing Dwadasi, which will be tomorrow, but for not feeding him, not feeding his guest first, Durvasa tried to kill him, and then Krishna's Sudarshan chakra chased Durvasa all over the universe. And although Maharaj Ambarish was faultless, he was blaming himself for the suffering that Durvasa was undergoing because of the Sudarshan chakra.
然后另外一个故事就是关于 Maharaj Ambarish 的，就是他其实他自己没有做错什么，他只是在遵守多尔的写，就是明天嘛，但是多尔什穆尼他就觉得，就是他没有先为他的就是客人，然后他就想杀了 Ambarish Maharaj，然后但是那个 Krishna 他的这个风火轮就跟随他全宇宙的跑，要追杀他。但是 Maharaj Ambarish 就反而觉得这都是他自己的错误，他自己也觉得很内疚。
Like I, a person who takes revenge, might say, well, I wish Krishna would just kill him. But Maharaj Ambarish, he was praying, oh, Sudarshan Chakra, please calm down and don't kill this Brahmana. And if I've done any devotional service, any good pious activities, then as a result of that, please save him.
但是就是一个有报复心的人可能会说Krishna 就是我希望你现在就把他杀了，但是 Ambarish 他怎么说？他就说亲爱的风火轮就是请冷静下来，别杀了多尔什穆尼。就如果我曾经做过任何好的有福报的事情的话，就是请就是救救 Ambarish 那多尔什穆尼。
Okay, so those were some good examples of the good guys. Now we'll talk about the bad guys.
那下面弟弟讲了很多关于好人的例子，现在会讲一些坏人的例子。
And what's the bad guy? The bad guy is the tongue. The tongue has no backbone. It just wags up and down, sideways. It's totally uncontrolled.
那坏人是谁呢？坏人其实是我们自己的舌头，因为舌头本身它是没有骨头的嘛，就是不被控制的。
The tongue is the cause of wars. Isn't that amazing?
就是口舌之战会造成真的现实生活中的战争。
Like, Sita, of course, this was just pastime. But because she sent Lakshman away, oh, I know why you don't want to go and save Ram, because you want to marry him. But I'll never marry you. So then Lakshman felt bad because he never saw anything of Sita above her ankle bone. He was so respectful to her as mother. But he went away, and then she was kidnapped. And then there was a big war. So the tongue is the cause of wars.
然后有一个例子就是Sita，就是他曾经把 Lakshman 赶走，说我知道你为什么不愿意去救 Ram，因为你想跟我结婚，呃，但是 Lakshman 其实就是觉得非常无语，因为他其实从来没有呃，他只看 Sita 的脚踝下面嘛，他从来没有看过脚踝上的任何的东西，他只看到 Sita 跟他的就是他的脚踝跟他脚踝上面的那个铃铛，他从来没有看过他上半身长什么样，但他还是就是去救 Ram， 但是后来 Sita 就被拐走了，然后战争就发生了。
And then Draupadi, of course, this is also just a pastime, because Draupadi also could never do anything wrong because she's a pure devotee. But she did a pastime that created a war too.
然后另外的例子就是 Jopudi，当然这些都是逍遥时光，就是他也是一个纯粹的奉献者，但是他也是因为他嘴巴上说了一些什么东西，然后惹怒了别人，然后战争就发生了。
She and the Pandavas had this kind of magic house, and there's a lot of illusory things in it. Like the floor was solid, but it looked like liquid. And in some parts, the ground was liquid, like a little pool, but it looked solid. So like when the very evil Duryodhan was visiting the palace, he thought that the water was dry land, and he fell into it. And then he was walking on the dry land of the palace, like picking up his dhoti so that he wouldn't get wet, but there was no water there. And so Draupadi laughed, and she said, "Oh, blind father, blind son." And he became so furious. And, he did all those terrible things after that. So our own tongue is the cause of quarrels and wars.
然后就 Jopali 就是因为他跟 Pandava 住在一个非常就是充满魔力的房子里嘛，就是房子的有一些部分就看似是干的，但其实是湿地，然后有些部分看似是湿地，但其实是干的。那 Duryodhana 有一次来他们家拜访的时候，就他以为这块地方是干的，然后他一走过去，怕就掉到水里了。或者说他以为这个地方看上去就是是水，然后他就是把这个衣服都拎起来，就是想小心翼翼的走路，然后但其实不是的，然后这些事情被 Jopali 看到，然后 Jopali 就嘲笑他说，就是你爸是个瞎子，你也是，就是你作为儿子也是个瞎子，然后就我们就非常生气，然后就开始做一些对方的做一些很恶毒的事情。
So Gurudev's conclusion was, be very careful about the tongue, and don't say anything that will either make a devotee angry or anyone angry.
那说了 Grude 就说，他的总结就是说要非常小心，就是口舌之战，不要说任何人的坏话，不管他是个奉献者也好，还是不是一个奉献者也好。
Do you know the story of the two brothers Shank and Likit?
No，
Okay, there were two brothers, and they went to Gurukula, and then they went back to their village, and they both had separate cottages.
小马迪说有个故事，两个兄弟叫 Shank and Lick，然后他们曾经在 Gurukul 读书，然后他们回到自己的村庄，然后两个人就是各自有一个房子。
So after Gurukula, they never married, but they just went back to their village and had separate bhajan kutirs for doing devotional service.
然后他们就上学归来之后，从来没有结婚，就在自己的这个房子里就是修行，做
So
灵父来的服务。
the younger brother's name was Likit, and one day he went to visit his older brother Shank in his bhajan kutir.
然后这个年轻的兄弟叫 Lickit，然后有一次他就去参观他哥哥上的那个房子。
While he was waiting for his brother, the brother the garden in front of the brother's bhajan kutir was full of nice flowers that were very fragrant. So he was attracted to one flower and went over and picked the flower and smelled it.
然后他在等他哥哥的时候，因为哥哥这个房子前面的花园很漂亮嘛，然后他就被其中一朵花吸引，他就走过去，然后把这朵花采下来，然后还闻了一下味道，就很好闻。
So because these brothers were so high in their consciousness and so loving of each other, Lickett, as soon as he smelled the flower, he thought, why did I do that? I didn't get any permission from my brother. I'm a thief. And he was feeling terrible.
然后因为这个兄弟他的意识是很高的嘛，所以他做这件事，他马上意识到，哎呀，我怎么做这样的事情，我都没有得到我哥哥的允许我就像一个小偷一样。
But this is in fact Vedic culture. Don't take anything that belongs to someone else.
就是在伟达文化里面，就是有一条规则，就是说，不要去拿别人的东西，就是如果没有得到允许的话。
So he took that flower when his brother came out. He took the flower to the brother and began weeping very loudly. And his brother said, why are you weeping? He told him what happened.
然后他就找到他哥哥带着这朵花，然后在那边哭，然后他的哥哥就说啊，你为什么要哭呀？
And then that Lickett said, I'm such a sinner. Please cut off my hands, because with that hand I did this sinful act. So Sang said, which hand did you use? He said, I used both hands. So Sang said, okay. And he cut off his two hands at the wrist.
然后 Lucky 就说我是个有罪业的，请把我的手砍了，因为我做了不好的事情。然后他哥哥就说 OK，哪个手做的？然后 Lucky 说两个手都做，然后他哥哥就把他两个手都砍了。
Now it's because Lickett was begging him, if you don't punish me, how will I get purified?
这是因为 Lucky 他就是请求他哥哥这么做，因为他说如果你不就是惩罚我的话，我怎么才能得到净化呢？
And rather than get purified, I'll just like live the rest of my life overcome with guilt. So Shang said, what? That was nothing what you did. Yes, it was a very bad act. Punish me. So that's why he cut off both hands.
因为 Lucky 就坚持他说，如果你不这么做的话，就是我无法得到净化，然后我这一辈子都会活在那个内疚之中。但他的哥哥说，这也没什么，但是他坚持就说要这么做，所以他哥哥就这么做了。
So you think that Lickett would feel worse after he got his two hands cut off, but he was so happy. It was all bloody, but he was so happy. And then Shank, his older brother, put medicine over the wound and bandaged the wound. And then Lickett came back very happy. Lickett left very happy.
然后你可能会觉得 Lucky 手被砍了会很伤心，但其实他特别开心。然后相格他就用草药啊，然后布啊帮 Lucky 都包扎好，然后 Lucky 就回家了。
So then after some time, Lickett came back to visit his brother, and he wanted to offer Saskam Pranam, full pranam. But full pranam also includes the hands. So then he was feeling terrible. So Sang said, what's the matter? He said, well, I want to properly offer obeisances to you, but I can't.
然后过了一段时间 Lucky 他回来拜访他哥哥，然后他想做 Dandava Pranam 就一个全身的顶礼，但他 要这么做的话要有2只手嘛，但他没有手了，然后他觉得特别不好，然后他哥哥说怎么了？然后他说：“哎呀，我想做这个，但我没手了。”
So then Shan, the older brother, said, "Oh, don't worry. You'll get back your hands." He threw some water onto the wrists, and the hands immediately came back. This is the power of following the Vedic injunctions and living a life according to the Vedas with devotion. This power that was in both of them.
然后尚可他作为哥哥就说：“哎，没事，你的手会回来。”他就拿了一点水，然后洒在 Dick 的手上，然后他的手一下就长回来了。那肖曼蒂说，这就说明他们2个都是非常虔诚的奉献者，然后都是有力量的，所以又好好遵守这些规则，所以他们有这样的力量可以做这样的事情。
And later on, the two of them wrote a scripture, the Sank and Likit Samhita, and even Lord Ramchandra used to follow that, because Ramchandra is Maryada Purushotama, so he even used to follow their teachings for his good conduct.
然后这2个兄弟他们后来写了一本经文，就这个经文就连主 Ram 都会去阅读，然后去遵守的。
And then Gurudev said that even Yudhisthira Maharaj used to follow these principles, and that's why there was no crime in his kingdom. Everyone used to fear him, knowing that they would get punishment. But then Gurudev said, but now no one cares for law and order. Everyone can do anything they want without fear of being punished. Isn't it? Crazy things happen in the world today.
那 Srila Gurudev 就说，其实Maharaj Yudhishthira 他也会去遵守，就是这本书里的内容。所以当时因为他很强大嘛，他的那个整个就是国家都没有任何的犯罪。但是香曼迪就说，但是现在的情况就说，大家就是无所畏惧，会做任何事情，然后也不会怕被惩罚。
So then Gurudev sort of concluded that even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted Srila Rupa Goswami to write a book of such etiquette, rules, and regulations, like don't quarrel with anyone. And that became his Sri Upadeshamrita, so that by following it, people would be peaceful and they would be able to chant and remember Krishna.
然后 s h i l Gurudev 就结论就说，就连 Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 他都要求 Rupa Goswami 写一本书，也就变成了后来的 Upadesh Shamrita。
Because if Upadeshamrita is followed, and Gurudev said if you don't follow Upadeshamrita, you can't make 1 inch of advancement in bhakti. So when Upadeshamrita is followed, then the people who follow don't make problems for each other.
那 s h i l Gurudev 就说这本书的内容必须要遵守，如果不遵守的话，奉爱就没有得到就没有办法进步一点点，所以是非常重要的。
And Gurudev said if anyone does not follow the rules and regulations of Upadeshamrita, he's not really a Vaishnava, even though he's called one.
然后 s h i l Gurudev 就说，如果一个人他不遵守这个Upadeshamrita 的内容的话，那他就不能算是一个奉献者，就算别人都叫他奉献者，就是 Vaishnava 的话。
Because as you know, Upadeshamrita discusses how to deal with others according to their level of advancement, how to control the different senses like the tongue, what the 6 principles to avoid, 6 things to do. So everything is there in there. And of course, the ultimate of worshiping Radharani.
这本书里面他就讲到，就是怎么根据别人的阶级去跟别人交流，然后6个该做的事情、不该做的事情，包括就是怎么去崇拜这个Radha Kund。
Okay, and now just about an hour is up. I'll ask if there's any urgent question. I think something hasn't been covered or whatever. A lot has not been covered.
So in nonviolent communication, like what if the other person doesn't listen, even though this person is like following the like the proper guidelines? Like should that person just not try to like avoid confrontation and just reduce the uh, amount of time spent with the other person? Because sometimes like it's like family or co-workers, you cannot help, you have to interact somehow.
Yeah, because you asked a general question that somebody's not listening, but everything depends on who that somebody is and what their relationship with me is. Like if it's my family members and they're not Krishna conscious, whether they listen to me, whether we have a good relationship or not a good relationship, if they're not interested in Krishna consciousness, then I don't want to waste my time associating with them. Just very politely so that they can see that I've become a good, cordial person, loving person because of my bhakti, but not waste time with them.
OK，那我就问了个问题，就说，如果就是一个人他学了这个非暴力沟通的内容，然后也好好的跟别人去沟通了，但是其他人就是不听，那遇到这样的情况应该怎么办？是应该减少沟通的频率，还是完全不理人家？那肖曼迪说，如果这人是个家人，然后他可能不修分爱，那不管这个关系好不好，也不想浪费时间的话，就是表面上就是礼貌一点，友善一点，但是不要跟他们联谊，也不要浪费自己的时间。
Whether they agree with you or not agree with you on some mundane topic, like what do you think about the politicians and China, that's irrelevant because it's all prajalpa, it's all illusion. And then if they are not interested to hearing about Krishna consciousness, then we just be a good example of being respectful, and at the same time not wasting time.
那就比如说，不管这些家人同不同意，他们可能会问你一些关于政治上或者其他一些平常的事情的看法，这都没有关系。对，然后如果他们不想听放的内容也没事，就是尊敬他们，但是就是尽量不要一直跟他们混在一起，就是浪费自己的时间。
One of the 10 offenses in chanting the holy name is to preach the glories of the Lord to the faithless. And Prabhupada said it takes so much energy to try and convince someone who's not receptive. You can take all that time and energy and convince many people who are innocent and receptive.
因为在那个十条戒律，就是关于圣名的里面，就是这个冒犯10条冒犯里面有一条就是说，不应该去，就是如果人家不相信分爱，就不要去跟别人讲这个东西。像马尔迪说，因为很花时间，与其花这个时间，还不如就是跟一些能理解的人、能接受的人讲，这样子对双方都更好。
And Prabhupada wrote us a letter saying, preaching means to increase our family members. They become our real family.
那徐克帕帕曾经他就说，跟别人传播分爱，相当于就是在增加自己的家人的数量，因为这些人就会变成自己的家人。
Is there anything else? Or is that satisfactory, or does it give rise to another question? It wasn't clear, or what?
No, actually, I think it's very clear. Yeah. No other question for now.
But Vasanti said she's going to send you, because I wrote to Ranajit, but I didn't hear anything back. So we'll just send you pictures of Prabhupada that we have that was sent to us by Govinda Dasi for the book Gauravani Pacharani in English. If that's okay.